Right, so today I'm going to get on with the clutch in the Discovery. In the past video I showed you a bit of a rattle that I had on the gearbox. I put it down to the possibility of the release bearing. Didn't know exactly what it was, but I got in touch with the people who I bought the clutch off in the first place not that long ago, LOF, and they have been absolutely fantastic. I can't speak any higher of them. They are a fantastic company. Luke, who I've been dealing with, has run through a few things that he thought it could be. He's then said, when you get the gearbox out and the clutch out, take a few pictures, assess it and send them over to them, and they'll tell us basically what's wrong. I've done all that, and they have sent me a package with a, well, like I say, fantastic company. They've sent me a package with a brand new clutch plate and all the bolts for refitting it, and the clip that goes on the release bearing. I'll show you how all that goes on. That's what we're going to do today. There's a couple of clips on the release bearing and on the clutch fork that should stop all that rattling, and hopefully, like I say, new clutch plate. These springs in the clutch plate tend to rattle sometimes, so they've sent me a new one just to eliminate that. There shouldn't be any problems when this is all fit. So yeah, like I said, thank you again to LOF. What a fantastic company they are. Really great company. Great products, and like I say, the customer service is fantastic. So yeah, thank you very much, Luke. You're a star. Let's get on with this. The garage is a complete pigsty at the minute. I do apologise. You might be able to see the gearbox is out. We've got the gearbox out. We've also got over here the brand new Ashcroft transfer box ready to go in. What I have had to do with this, it doesn't actually come with everything, so what I've had to do is I've had to fit the diff lock mechanism there, and over on the other side I've had to refit the speed sensor because they don't come with one. So there was a bit of faffing about, but I've fathomed it out, and the other ones are all in the crate ready to go back. We've got two used ones. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this all fixes my issues. If not, then I will probably curl up in a corner and start crying. So yeah, let me get the release bearing and the fork, everything out, so we can get it on the table, and I'll show you exactly how we're going to fit this clutch to the Land Rover. So the release bearing isn't actually attached to the fork at all, and I've broken the little clip on there. I have just done that. Fork and slipper pads. Okay, what we've got here is the clutch fork. This is a heavy duty one with a plate on, and the heavy duty release bearing and the push rod. You can see this clip has broken. They're not very good, these plastic ones, very difficult to get in, and they break quite easily. Luckily, we don't need that. LOF supply these metal clips much better, and they don't break. And then we've got the clip for the release bearing, which will hold it to the fork. So we use the push rod through this spring, and this is going to go into this hole down here. You have to push the push rod through this way, like that, and then push the two ends together, and it should go in. It's a little bit stiff, but just got to persevere. Just needs a bit of a, there we go. Give it a bit of a tap, and in it goes. Now that isn't coming out, that's attached. It's not rattling anywhere either, and it's not going to snap. Good design, LOF. Next, we've got slipper pads and the release bearing. I will note, just before we fit everything, I'm going to put a bit of Molly grease underneath some of these bits. Keeps everything lubricated then. The same again on the slippers. There we go. Now we can attach the release bearing, which will go on like that. And that will go on that way. So we attach the clip. There's two holes, one there and one there for the clip to slot into. Very easy, just slide it over, clip it in. And then you slide, probably easier that way. Slide it on like that. There we go. And that's the release bearing attached to the fork. That's not going anywhere. Can still move about. Not coming off. So now it's on, I can fit that to the gearbox and then forget about it. It's all been greased up and it's not rattling. It's a good sign. So I'm going to put that on the gearbox now. And that's done, job done. Love it when a plan comes together. I'm going to feed that through there, that onto there. Can be a little bit fiddly. Especially when you can't see. There we go. Perfect. Job done. So now I'm going to get all the bits together for fitting this clutch onto the flywheel of the car. I'm going to need some brake cleaner, and I've also got the tool for fitting it to align the clutch. That's definitely needed. I won't be needing this old clutch, which isn't that old. It's only done probably 10,000 miles, so I'm going to keep it as a spare just in case anything happens on the new one. Give everything a good clean up with the brake cleaner and get it bolted into the car. The fitting instructions, it comes with the torque settings for the bolts, 28 Newton meters, and it says that I've got to have 500 miles of bedding in, which is no no try that again, which means no harsh throttle operations and excessive slipping of the clutch pedal. It says also try and get in as many gear changes as you can, which shouldn't be difficult in a Land Rover because you're up and down the gears all the time. Right, let's get cracking. Get me tools out. Should have. There we are. That. We will also need that. That. And my torque wrench. Then that. No sunny afternoon. Well, these are Allen head bolts. So they're the ones. Perfect. Got a bit of a dilemma. My torque wrench only starts at 30 Newton meters and my small one finishes at 25. How do I do 28? I'm thinking I'll just do 30. Should be alright. I'd rather it be tighter than not tight. Yeah. Fingers crossed I don't snap any bolts. That'd be a nightmare. Right, we're all set. Let's get cracking. I'm just going to quickly clean that clutch plate up, the pressure plate, and I'll give that a quick clean as well, just to make sure there's no grease, no crap on the new clutch, and we'll get it fit under the car. There we go. Ready to rock and roll. Just one thing, I'll show you. This is probably something that I think is the cause of the rattle. You can just see when the camera decides to focus, there's a ring of wear on the springs, which I am thinking is something to do with the release bearing chattering on the springs. So I think that's the cause of the rattle. I think the release bearing's been chattering against the clutch plate, the clutch pressure plate, and it's been rattling on idle. And then as soon as you put your foot on the clutch, it obviously compresses it against the springs and that rattle stops. Next job is fresh gloves, because I don't want any grease going on this clutch pressure plate. Not pressure plate, what's it called? Clutch plate. So new gloves. Garage is a complete pigsty. We've got a lot on at the minute. I am trying to juggle about 10 million things at once. A gearbox, transfer box, clutch swap on the Land Rover. Organise a wedding, which is 4 weeks away, and we still haven't got a first dance. We don't even know what song we want, so yeah. What else is there? All sorts going on. Still need to get some training in for the Yorkshire Three Peaks. Planning on doing that in April. Again, got a lot on. I started playing football again on Monday, and it's now Sunday, and I'm still a little bit achy. So 6 days and I'm still aching. It's been about 5 years since I played football, so just working my way in and getting the fitness back up, and then I should be alright for this 3 peaks job. Yeah, right, new gloves, let's get this clutch fit. Ooh. Right. So here you can see we've got a little bit of rust forming on the flywheel. So what I'm going to do is a little bit of wire wool, just going to flatten it off. Just like a brake disc, once you get going it will come off anyway. Clean with brake cleaner. There we go. So that's now clean, and I will just point out that when I did the gearbox a few months back, I also replaced this spigot bush and I fit new flywheel bolts. So they have all been replaced and torqued up, and that has been replaced as well. It's good practice to do the seal on the back of this, which is what I did. While you're doing all this, while you've got everything out, replace the crank seal, put new bolts in and a new spigot bush. That way you can eliminate any other problems. Now we can get the new clutch plate into position using the tool that slots in there like that. Make sure you get the plate the right way around. It does say on it gearbox side, so that then slides onto there like that. And I'll show you, I thought something was falling then. Show you here when it focuses. Come on, come on. There we go. Oh, it's gone again. Do it manually. Gearbox side, so that comes outwards, obviously towards the gearbox. There we go. Now we can put the now we can fit the clutch plate cover, pressure plate, whatever you want to call it. I'm not a proper mechanic, so I don't really know all the correct terminology. I will say the wrong things from time to time. As long as you kind of get a gist of what I'm saying, it's good enough. Yeah, so we're going to put this on, we're going to give it another quick squirt of brake cleaner and then fit that and put the bolts in, torque them all up, job done. There are locating pins on the flywheel in 3 positions, so the clutch can only go on certain ways. And that's not it. That way. There we go. That's it. As you can see, it's on these locating pins. There's 3. I'm just going to pop a screw in just to hold it in place. I'm actually going to thread lock these just to make sure that they don't come out. Just put them in finger tight. Now I'm going to put a bit of thread lock on them, and then we can start torquing them up. Now I'm going to tighten them up in a diagonal pattern, so top to bottom, that one to that one, that one to that one, like that. Now what I'll also do is I will go around them all, just double check the torque on them, make sure they're all tight. Now I don't know if you can tell from the camera, but the top and the bottom bolts that I put in first, once I'd gone round torquing them all up, I actually torqued them again and they moved a little bit more. So it just shows that if you double check your torque settings, make sure you torque them once and then torque them twice, they're not going to be loose. You can eliminate the chance of bolts falling out. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That is the clutch fit now. The next job is get the gearbox back in and get the transfer box back in. We're cracking on with this, and we're going to be out again adventuring very soon. So hopefully you've enjoyed this little video. Thanks for watching. Thank you to everyone for all your very kind comments on my posts and the videos, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.